In this video, we're going to take a look at finishing off shaping the head, building out an ear, and getting it pretty much prepped for ZBrush. Here's an example head of what we're looking at. It's a little bit more, it's rounded out more. It's got another laugh line here, another line here to kind of accentuate the laugh. I smoothed it out a little bit and we built out an ear. So let's go ahead and open the model from the previous video. Okay, so from the previous video we kind of shaped out a basic nose and a mouth. There's no ear there. The head is still super boxy. A lot of the geometry in the back of the head needs to be cleaned up. Alright, so let's take a look at this side view and start from shaping this way back. You can see he still has he has the bump there, which is okay because we added that this little guy here, but we never fully straightened out the nose and then created the little curve to really utilize this. So let's just go ahead and bring all of this forward a little bit more, and we're just gonna, with our eye, and again this video is really about training your eye, we're gonna start to shape this out so it matches that a little bit better. Alright, same thing here. I want you to try to visualize drawing this character. So again, that line that we drew earlier wraps around the side of the head here, blocking off the side of the face with the front. And if you look at the front of the face, there's all these lines that sort of radiate outward from the eye. You can see here that we don't have that. He's got this sort of huge mass, like he was just punched in the face. So let's just go ahead and select this vert back here, and I'm just going to hit B, increase my soft selection, and just sort of pull that back a little bit more. And I'm going to work my way towards the front, just sort of pulling all of those back. Actually, let's kind of do this area manually. There we go. Okay. Another thing we want to look at is the way the eyeball sits inside the head is it's sort of just sitting around this muscle tissue, and then the eyelids lay on top of it. So it's the same V pattern. We don't really have that going on here. So what we want to do is let's take a closer look at the eye. We have this almost sitting flush. So on this outer ring here, what we want to do with it is just really just kind of push that back and scale it up just a little bit. That's going to help us to form that area a little bit better. So you can see we're now starting to get that V pattern, and it's okay if it sort of overlaps a little bit this way. Another thing is, this is that line we were talking about in the previous video. It actually kind of extends down here. If you can see that drawing, there's a really small gap there and we have a huge gap here. So all we're going to do is pull that in. We're going to pull this forward a little bit. Again, we want to kind of get this whole area a little bit more compact, like that. You can see that's already starting to form a little bit better. Alright. Same thing with our nose. We have a really wide area going on here. Looks good. We also want to sort of make sure that we're keeping that radial pattern going. So let's go to our front view, and again continue to shape out this area here. Remember, we're really just focusing on the front of the face. Later we're going to add a loop that runs around the side of the face here, and that's going to really help us to shape or beef up the head. Alright, we want to kind of push this guy in just a little bit. Alright, so that whole eye socket area is looking a little bit better. Let's go ahead and pull these guys out a little bit too in the center. They're sort of collapsing in. Alright, and then let's start to pull these guys back. Notice I'm grabbing just those. Oh, let's grab this guy too. And then I'm going to pull these nostril back. These two verts in the front of the nostril back. Alright. Now, what you'll notice is there's a cut that runs around the side of the nose here. We're just going to go ahead and add that right here. it's going to run a loop through the center of the nose all the way around. So right there. And I just want to grab these verts here and push them in. And let's pull that in just a little bit. Okay. Now again, we're missing some of that curvature, so we want to push these guys in. Let's pull this back. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Same thing here, our chin actually lines up with the top lip of our mouth. You see that? It almost completely lines up. So I want to kind of pull this whole area forward a little bit. I don't want it to pass it, but just sort of line up a little bit this way. Alright? Same thing, our mouth is losing a lot of its shape. So let's make sure that we close this area off. Making sure it's straight. And then we can go back and shape it. Like this. Trying to maintain that curvature. And let's give ourselves a little bit more lip. So let's pull this. Alright, so it's looking a lot better. And what we're really looking for is just a representation of the character that we can bring in a ZBrush. We're not going to be doing all of the modeling in the ear loops and stuff like that. We'll do all of that in ZBrush. Alright, again, we're still working on the front of the face, working our way forward. So you can see that likeness is starting to happen. It's starting to happen. His eye is a little too big, so let's condense this area a little bit. Just going to pull this area up and back a little bit more. I'm going to select the vert right next to it and do the same thing. Alright, so let's go ahead and add another loop just across the forehead here so that we can get that nice curvature going up. There's like a dip in the forehead there. So I'm going to pull these verts forward. Again, helping to shape out that head a little bit better. Alright, now I want to spend some time on the back of the head. He's got It's a pretty nice curve that hooks in this way. It flattens out about here. And the highest point of this guy's head is just in front of his ear here. So we want to be conscious of that. Because that's where how we're gonna know where the placement of our ear should go. So let's go to the perspective view and really just start to shape this out a little bit better. Alright, let's go to our side view. I'm going to straighten these guys out. Alright, so this is the high point I was talking about. I'm going to shift that forward a little bit. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and insert another loop here. And then one more here. This is going to be where we build out the ear. Alright, so let's just straighten out the verts in the center here. And later we'll revisit that area up top Alright, now his ear from the side view, he just has this enormous ear. His head is also pitched a little bit downwards, but overall, so we want to make sure that we select enough geo to sort of accompany that area. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and select these faces here, and I'm just going to extrude that face out. And hit E. I'm just going to rotate this, and from the front view I'm going to just go ahead and create like a generic shape out of the verts that accompany these side faces here. So here, I'm just going to push this in here, and same thing down here. Alright, let's go to our side view. I'm going to pull these guys up, back. Let's go to our perspective view. I think you'll be able to see it better through the perspective view. Down, and then I'm going to pull these guys up. So what I'm going for is just the general shape of an ear. I'm not actually, like I said, I'm not going to add all these extra loops. I do have a video on how to do all those loops, but really you can do that with a normal map in ZBrush, especially with a game character. Alright. So for now, once we're happy with it, what we want to do is actually we want to condense all of these inside ones to a single triangle. So I'm holding shift here, right clicking, and merging the center on these two verts, and I'm hitting G to redo action. Now say you want to add a little bit more information there. Let's kind of pull in these faces here so it doesn't pop out so much, because we really, again, we're looking for an arc going in on the ear. This is the same base as the ear modeling video. All you do to create the inside areas is you actually select these faces and start to extrude and cut, and that starts to shape out, like you can see the different parts of the ear there, but we're not, again, we're not looking for that right now. Alright. Actually, you know what we might do is, just for appearances, we'll add another extrusion there, and we'll pull these verts in and down, just to give it a little bit more shape. So you can see, like, it makes the ear a little bit more visually interesting. There you go. So you get a nice curvature around that ear. You can see that vert's going to kind of control that pinch. And then you can sort of just play with these outside faces. And again, if you need it, if you'd like it, let's go ahead and merge these guys off. And if you need it to not look so boxy or so flat, you can again extrude that face out and just kind of, you'll get the little clip area, and then you go back and again merge the verts. So there it is. So he still needs some tweaking. I'm kind of in a rush to get him into ZBrush. Because it's kind of the goal is to sort of a quick guide. Again, you're always sort of rounding this guy out. So the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to do one more polish pass on our character. Let's take a look at them from an angle and turn off transparency so we're going to do one more polish pass on our character to really kind of hammer out. We'll throw another loop around this side and work on that profile view, and then we'll unwrap our character.